You walk out to the gravel driveway first thing in the morning and they are already there. Little green tufts pushing up through every crack, every gap, every joint in the stone. You cleared that same driveway 2 weeks ago. By next week, those tufts will be ankle high. By the end of the summer, the weeds will have the whole drive back if you do not stay after them. The fence line behind the barn is worse. Sticker brush and vine and sprawling grass woven up through the wire, taking ground they had no invitation to take. Every last one needing to be cut or pulled or burnt back before the place looks neglected. So most folks walk to the hardware store. They stand in the herbicide aisle and look at the bottles. Roundup for $15 to $30, glyphosate combinations for $40. Long residual soil sterilizers that promise a clean bare patch for a full year, $45 a bottle. The man behind the counter says these are the only things that really work. You carry one home, spray it, and come back in 3 months to find the weeds right there again because the seeds blew in on the wind, same as they always do. By the time you add it up, spring treatment, midsummer treatment, fall, and the occasional spot spray in between, you are spending $200 a year on bottles, every year, and the weeds still come back. They always come back. That is the nature of them. What I am going to show you today are 6 methods the old farmers in this country have used for 150 years, before the first herbicide bottle ever sat on a store shelf. My grandfather cleared his fence lines and his driveway and his garden edges the same way. His father did the same. Every one of these methods costs almost nothing. Every one of them works, and not one person at the hardware store has any reason to tell you about them. My name is Earl. I have kept this farm out here in the Ozarks for going on 50 years, and not $1 of it has gone to a commercial weed killer. If you are new here, welcome to Homestead Grandpa. Hit that subscribe button right now so you do not miss a single video. I put one out every week and I do not waste your time. Now let us get into it. Method 1. Horticultural vinegar and dish soap. Most folks have heard of using vinegar to kill weeds. Most folks try it with the white vinegar from the grocery store and wonder why it does not do much. The kitchen vinegar is 5% acetic acid, not strong enough to take on a real weed. What you want is horticultural-strength vinegar, 20 to 30% acetic acid. You will find it at the hardware store or the feed store in gallon jugs for $15 to $20. 1 gallon goes a long way. At 20% or higher, straight acetic acid draws the water right out of plant tissue, breaks down the waxy coating on the leaves, and burns the foliage fast. On a hot sunny day, you will see the weeds starting to brown within an hour. By the end of the afternoon, they will be crisp and dead on top. Recipe is simple: 1 gallon of horticultural vinegar, 2 tablespoons of plain dish soap, any brand. The soap is a surfactant. It makes the vinegar stick to the waxy leaf surface instead of running off. Stir gently, put it in a clean garden sprayer, and spray on a sunny day with no rain in the forecast for at least 24 hours. Soak the leaves until the solution runs off. I want to be plain about what this does and does not do. Small weeds with shallow roots, the kind pushing through driveway cracks, usually die completely. Larger established weeds with deep root systems, your dandelions and dock and thistle, will brown on top and then regrow from the root 2 or 3 weeks later. For those, you may need 2 or 3 applications through the season. This method is best for flower beds, driveway cracks, walkway joints, and small annual weeds. It costs almost nothing, and it leaves nothing in the soil behind. Method 2. Vinegar with salt, for fence lines and places you want bare all season. For spots where you do not want a single thing growing back for the rest of the year, add salt. Gravel driveways, the fence line behind the barn, the gap between the flagstones, anywhere you have no intention of planting anything. Same recipe as before: 1 gallon of horticultural vinegar, 2 tablespoons of dish soap, but add 1 full cup of plain table salt or rock salt per gallon, and mix until it dissolves. The vinegar breaks down in the soil over time. The salt does not. Where the salt soaks into the ground, the soil becomes too saline for plants to take up water through their roots, and any seed that lands there cannot germinate. 1 good spray on a driveway crack and you can get 6 to 12 weeks of nothing coming back. With a couple of applications through the season, you can keep an area bare for a full year. Two things I want you to understand because they matter. Salt does not stay where you put it. Rain washes it, snowmelt carries it, and on any ground that slopes at all, it will drift downhill. I have heard of folks who salted a fence line and watched a big maple tree 40 feet away start yellowing the following summer because the salt had worked its way down through the soil to the root system. Use this method only where you truly want nothing growing, and only where the runoff cannot reach anything you want to keep. Salted ground stays salted. If you ever change your mind and want to plant a hedge along that fence line or put grass back in a corner, the salt will fight you for years. The only remedies are time and rain, or digging it out and replacing the soil. Choose your spots with care. Used on the right ground, this is one of the cheapest and most effective weed methods there is. My grandfather mixed the same recipe, costs about $2 a gallon to make, works within hours, keeps the spot bare for months. Before I show you the next 4 methods, I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments what your worst weed problem is right now. Driveway, fence line, garden bed, yard edge, and what part of the country you are in. If your grandmother or your grandfather had an old weed-killing trick they swore by, share it. That kind of knowledge gets lost when nobody writes it down. I read every single one, and if you have not subscribed yet, hit that button now. I put a new video out every week. Method 3, boiling water from the kettle. I know this sounds too simple. I want you to take it seriously anyway. Plain boiling water poured directly onto a weed kills it. No chemicals, no spray, no residue, just hot water from your stove. The heat ruptures the plant cells and cooks the plant from the inside out. The water and sap inside the cells expand and burst the cell walls. The plant goes limp within hours and dead within a day. Because the water soaks down into the soil, it actually kills more of the root on small weeds than vinegar does. Put your kettle on the stove, bring it to a hard rolling boil, carry it out, and pour slowly and directly over the weeds, soaking the base. 1 full kettle handles 3 or 4 good-sized weeds or about 2 feet of driveway crack. Say this plainly, boiling water burns skin badly and fast. Wear closed-toe boots and long pants. Carry the kettle with 2 hands with the spout pointed away from your body. Pour slowly so it does not splash back. Never pour on a windy day. Keep children away from the kettle while you are working outside. A spill on a foot or a leg is a serious burn. This costs nothing beyond the gas or electricity to boil the water. It is best for driveway cracks, walkway joints, gravel paths, and small isolated weeds you can target precisely. It will kill anything green it touches, so do not pour it into your lawn unless you want a dead patch around it. The old folks have been doing this one longer than anyone can remember. It works exactly the same today as it always did. Method 4, the propane flame torch. This is the upgrade of the boiling water method and one of the most useful tools any homestead can own. A handheld propane torch with a long wand and a flame nozzle connected to a standard 20-pound propane tank. You walk the area and pass the flame over each weed for about 1 second. That is all you need. You are not setting the weed on fire. A brief heat shock ruptures the cells and kills the plant. The leaves wilt within minutes, brown by the next day, dead by the end of the week. A flame weeder runs $40 to $100 at any hardware or farm supply store. A full propane tank lasts through many weeding sessions across a season. The fence line that took 3 hours to hand pull last summer takes 20 minutes with the torch. 5 things to keep in mind. Wear leather boots, long pants, gloves, and eye protection. The flame runs well over 1,000 degrees at the nozzle. Check with your local fire department before first use. Some areas carry burn bans during dry summers, and a small flame in dry conditions can become a brush fire before you can step back. Keep a bucket of water or a running hose within arm's reach before you start, always. Do not use a flame weeder near dry mulch, wood chips, dry leaves, or anything that can smolder. Embers can carry on a light wind and ignite a pile of dry chips 6 feet away. Wood chip mulch can smolder underground for hours and burst into flame after you have packed up and gone inside. After you finish, walk the area again 10 or 20 minutes later and check for any smoke or smoldering. If anything looks wrong, soak it. Better to wet the whole area lightly as a final step than to fight a fire in the dark. Used with those precautions, this is the fastest and most satisfying weed tool the homestead can own. No chemicals, no residue in the soil, nothing left behind. Method 5. Newspaper and mulch smothering. For a large problem patch you want to clear and keep clear, a stretch of fence line that has gotten away from you, an area where invasive grass has taken over, a section of yard you want to convert to a garden bed, no spray and no torch beats the business of smothering. Cut the existing weeds down first. Lay 4 to 6 layers of plain newspaper or a single layer of plain cardboard directly on the soil over the entire patch. Wet it down thoroughly to weight it and start it breaking down. Cover with 3 to 4 inches of mulch, wood chips, straw, shredded leaves, whatever you have. Walk away. Without light, photosynthesis stops. In 2 to 3 weeks, the weeds underneath die back. In 4 to 6 months, the newspaper and cardboard break down into the soil, adding organic matter as they go. The mulch on top prevents new seeds from germinating and keeps the ground cool and moist. By the following spring, the area will be clean, bare soil, ready for whatever you want to plant. It smothers what is there and feeds the soil as it goes. It is slow and it does not give you the satisfaction of watching something die in the afternoon, but it gives you the best result of any method on this list for a hard problem area. Method 6. Pull them by hand after the rain. I know this is the one nobody wants to hear. I am going to tell you why it matters anyway. Hand pulling after a good soaking rain is the only method on this list that removes the entire weed, root and all, in a single pass. The vinegar burns the leaves, the torch wilts the foliage, the salt poisons the soil. Only your hands actually take the whole weed out of the ground and put it in the compost bucket where it belongs. Wait until the ground is thoroughly wet. Wet soil releases the root. A weed that snaps off at the base in dry ground pulls out clean in soft, wet ground. Use a hand tool if you like, a dandelion fork, a small cultivator, a hora knife, to work the root loose before you pull. Work your way down a row. On a good soft evening after rain, you can clear 100 feet of garden bed in under an hour. Every weed comes out whole. The careful old folks did not see this as punishment. They walked the rows a few times a week, pulled what had come up, kept the beds clean while the work was still small. Weeds become a real problem only when you let them go for weeks until they go to seed. Catch them small and they never get ahead of you. This is the method the entire human race used for 10,000 years before the first chemical herbicide existed. It still works exactly the same. It costs nothing. It improves the soil. And 15 minutes outside in the evening light, walking the rows, is not a bad way to end a day. Here is the honest math. 6 methods, each for a different situation. Horticultural vinegar and soap for small annual weeds in flower beds and driveway cracks. Add a cup of salt for fence lines and gravel you want bare all season, but know where the runoff goes. The boiling kettle for 1 or 2 isolated weeds when the stove is already going. The propane torch for larger stretches of driveway and path and fence lines you want cleared fast and clean. Newspaper and mulch for the problem patch you want converted into clean ground by next spring. Your own hands after rain for the regular upkeep of the garden bed. Not one of those methods needs a $45 bottle of soil sterilizer. Not one needs glyphosate. Every one costs almost nothing. Horticultural vinegar, table salt, water from the stove, a $40 torch that lasts a lifetime, free cardboard and newspaper, and your own 2 hands. The hardware store will sell you a bottle of spray for $15 to $45 that does the same job as things already in your kitchen. It will sell you another bottle next spring when the weeds come back, because they always come back regardless of what you spray. $200 a year, easy, and the weeds never stop. Here is what I want you to do this week. Identify your worst weed problem. Be specific about where it is and what kind of weeds. Match it to the right method from today. If you do not have a gallon of horticultural vinegar, pick one up. $18 at the hardware store, and that bottle will see you through a full season. If the fence line or the driveway is getting away from you, add the salt to the recipe and deal with it before the end of the month while the season is still young. Tell me in the comments what the worst weed problem is on your property right now, what part of the country you are in, and if you have an old family weed killing method that is not on this list. I read every single one of those comments and I learned from them as much as you learned from me. Until next time, keep the gate latched, the ground fed, and take care of what is yours.